Hello, all my rosy readers, and welcome to this month's special review, the Halloween review, and the theme, technically, of the month. If you couldn't tell by the roses and the music, we have today La Phantom of the Opera. I know that's mixing the French and the English, but I can't exactly remember the entire Le Phantom de Opera or something like that. I always forget the rest of it, but I always remember La or Le. However you pronounce that too. I apologize to French speakers. But the Phantom of the Opera, which is going to be the second review today, going to deal with. Lindsay Ellis did already a comparison of the book and the movies, a very in-depth book and movies, so if you want to check that out, please do. She covers it pretty well in the issues. But I want to talk about the book. Yes, after the last review, which was such a long rant, I get to talk about this. And this one, it's not... Oh, it says it right here in the back, fiction drama. There's a kind of bit of a thriller horror aspect to it as well. Less the romance, technically. The romance was primarily between Raoul and Christine. And it's kind of told in letter form, if you will. It's kind of what you would have a book-ended story. What's that word again? It's a story within a story. No, that's not the right one. That's a camera, which is several stories within one story. There is a specific word for it, and I can't... It's there. I know it. I just can't remember it. I apologize. But basically, you've got these two bookends. Well, it's sort of like, I guess you can call it a bookend. Where the author... Oh, right here at the very beginning. Prologue, in which the author of this singular work informs the reader how he acquired the certainty that the opera ghost really existed. The opera ghost really existed. I just like that. I just like that very from the beginning. It's like, with certainty that the opera ghost really existed. The opera ghost really existed. Just hands down, it really existed. He was not, as long believed, a creature of the imagination, of the artists, the superstition of the managers, or a product of the absurd and impressionable brains of the young ladies of the ballet. Their mothers... I pronounced that so wrong. I apologize, it's ballet. Their mothers, the box keepers, the cloakroom attendants, or the concierge. I know I pronounced that wrong. Yes, he existed in flesh and blood, although he assumed the complete appearance of a real phantom, that is to say, of a spectral shade. That's the kind of thing that gets me excited about this. It's like, I like the spookiness. I like the spooky, scary skeletons. I don't mind seeing that kind of imagery. Of course, I did watch the cartoon growing up. Yes, the cartoon of the Phantom of the Opera, which can be found on YouTube. I will... Sorry, I apologize. I was a little in the wrong way. I will link it down below. The cartoon is available on YouTube, and you can watch it in all its glorious badness. Well, it's bad and yet good at the same time, if you will. As the cartoon style could be a little bit better. But, it worked. It was probably the most accurate Phantom of the Opera in existence, and that's not including the weird ass, the really weird Italian one. I'm not even going there, because I didn't even watch it. I don't care to. So, yes, the Phantom of the Opera is not the Tales of its time, even though a lot of people want to say it is. It's really not. It's really not. In the original Beauty and the Beast, the prince was actually good, and he was placed under a curse by an evil fairy. I read that. That's a review for another time. Okay? That's the first thing. Secondly, in the Disney remake, which is the most commonly used format now, which the Beast was a jerk and needed to change to become a better person before the spell would break, hence why he needed Belle. Or at least to fall in love with Belle, because it gives him someone to think about other than himself. You know, becoming unselfish. Yeah, the Phantom of the Opera is more like that. In which case, Eric is kind of a jerk. But and technically in both cases, it's almost understandable. Eric is technically still a frightened little boy. He's frightened by being pushed away, again, by everyone. He's scared of he wants to get close, but he's scared of doing it because people will reject him, and not get to know him for who he is. He was only used as a freak show previously. And it's like, yeah, he's got a very sad backstory, which is probably why a lot of us women like him. We can empathize with him. So, we definitely want to protect him. The funny thing is, they say that. How many are actually referring to the sexy Gerard Butler version? And how many, once they actually see the deformity that was Eric, the Phantom, will run away screaming from him? Or faint. Because ladies like to do that for some reason. I don't know why. That seems to be a thing. But anyways, now comes a little bit of a rant. But how many actually want to stay with him? Because apparently, where is it? I'm sorry. Oh, damn it, maybe that was it. Um, I apologize. I'm trying to find this passage that I'm saying. It looks like I'm in the right place, but I'm trying to find Christine's. Oh, here. Oh, right here. Finally found it. For all you have seen death's hands, when they have been dried and withered by the centuries, and perhaps if you are not the victim of a nightmare, you saw his death's head at Paros. And then you saw Red Death stalking about at the last masked ball. But all those death's heads were motionless and the dumb horror was not alive. But imagine if you can Red Death's mask suddenly come into life and Orto expressed, with the 4 black holes of its eyes, its nose, and its mouth, the extreme anger and the mighty fury of a demon, and not a ray of light from the sockets, for, as I learned later, you cannot see his blazing eyes except in the dark. I don't think that's exactly what I was saying, but or at least what I was looking for, because there's apparently, according to at least the Wikipedia page, anyways, because I've had to look it up in reference to the artwork I commissioned for, which is a fan fiction that I will link in the description below. Said apparently, I guess in the French, that the word they used, or at least the way it's described, his hands anyways, it said that it could work for not only sight, but smell as well. So, and a lot of people tend to go... no, that wasn't what I was trying to say. Most people think of the sight of Eric. That's mostly the problem. You know, looking at a skeleton, okay? It's looking at a living skeleton that shouldn't be moving around. But they don't really think about the smell. And he must... I'm trying... I apologize. I'm still looking for this, but I was laughing a little bit ago. I was like, Raoul. Picture it, a man who lives in a palace underground, and he gave a leer. I was like, yeah, dude, when the palace is underground, he probably kind of sounds cooler than you. But yeah, this is kind of, the Hades and Persephone. "Did you want me to go back there?" said the young girl cruelly. "Take care, Raoul. I have told you I should never return." Yes. He fills me with horror, and I do not hate him. How can I hate him, Raoul? Think of Eric at my feet, in the house, in the lake, underground. He accuses himself, he curses himself, he implores my forgiveness. He confesses he's cheat. He loves me. He lays at my feet in an innocent tragic love. He has carried me off for love. He has imprisoned me with him, underground, for love. But he respects me. He crawls, he moans, he weeps. Uh, So we're all understood, clasping each other closely, raised their eyes to the stars that shone in a clear and peaceful sky. We're all said, "Strange, Christine, that this calm, soft night should be so full of plaintive sounds. One would think it was sorrowing with us." "That's because the Phantom of the Opera's standing right there and is echoing you, horror, 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 and you're ah!" That's my main problem with this, is just like, oh gosh. You can tell these guys are pretty young, aren't giving any thought to much else. Because they're not even thinking, oh, we hear a strange echo. Could there be someone out here with us? Hello guys. That could just be my, my very well-versed mystery brain talking. I guess that's the way to say it. No, the other thing is, like, she's pretty descriptive, too. She says, oh, he says this, and he said that. I mean, yeah, you probably remember everything a guy would say, but would you really, if you're hearing strange sounds, do you really want to go into deep detail into everything that happened? I'm just saying. If you're afraid that he's going to come out, taking your time explaining every single detail is not exactly going to help. In fact, he's going to find you eventually. But I think that might be another part of the reason why more people seem to like Eric overall. It's because Eric does seem a little bit smarter and not as vain. Even though Eric, of course, has got his vanities, of course. When you got the face of a skull, who wouldn't be? You can only come out once a year, and that's usually in this year. If Eric was around this day and age, he'd be fine coming out on Halloween. We'd all be celebrating it like, Drac was in Hotel Transylvania. But yes. So, anyways, now that I've read a little bit of the book itself, yeah, that was the spot that I was looking for. The Death's Hand bit it could refer to the sight of it as well as the smell of it. So I'd be running away from him because of the smell rather than the sight. I'm just saying that right now. Because like I just said, I'm not scared of skeletons. Yeah, it's going to be kind of weird seeing a skeleton that you know is supposed to be in the ground, dead, not moving, rising from the ground and moving. Like I said, where's the usual? But I'm fine with it, of course. And again, my siblings and I have played with a couple of skeletons over the years, so it's like, okay, used to skeletons moving around. It's like, hi, welcome it. So, We're okay with skeletons. I'm just gonna say I'm okay with skeletons. It's the looking. I like the skeleton part that's not gonna get me. It's the smelling like rotting flesh that's gonna get me. I've got a sensitive nose as it is. My mom's is more sensitive than mine. Anyways, what am I saying? I don't have that sensitive of a nose. I'm usually clogged up, so maybe I'll even have less of a problem because half the time I can't smell. Well, except I can smell the gunk. That really does. I don't. If it smells worse than skunk, no. I can barely handle the skunk smell as it is. I don't think rotting flesh is gonna go over too well either. Get some perfumes, Eric. Which brings up a question. Why is it that vampires don't smell like rotting flesh? Food for thought. Maybe that'll come with Dracula. So, anyways, yes, I didn't even know. I've been basically reading it. Phantom of the Opera. I do like it. Less of a romance, more of a horror. Again, I have written some fanfic, links in the description below. Eric is a little different, obviously, but like I said, it's going to take place. What did I say? Thinking 5 years after the events in this book? At least 5 years, maybe even 10. Because it's a crossover with Nico D'Angelo, Hades. It's called The Masked Butler. It was inspired by The Black Butler. And my idea for this is that Hades found Eric, like, immediately after this. So Eric doesn't die. Sorry, spoilers. Spoilers. Eric does not die in my fanfiction. Hades saves him and takes him to an island kingdom in... Why did I want to say Venezuela? It's not Venezuela. It's in Venice, Italy. And... yeah, this is supposed to be in the Victorian era, which... when was this published? 1868 to 1927. Oh, there it is. La Fantôme de l'Opéra. And I probably announced that too. Sorry. I gotta hear it in order for me to pronounce it correctly. So yeah, so the Phantom of the Opera technically does take place like during the Victorian era. So, you know, I'm thinking actually like 1890s-ish time frame. No, it's probably would be like 1870. If we go like have this book, it was printed in 1868. We'll say 1870. Reprint 1911. So yeah, based on that, you know, Nico was as was his Bianca and his mother. And so that all happens in the Victorian era. And Eric is commissioned by Hades to act as a butler to the family. Gets along with them very, very well. He and Nico bond pretty early on. Even more so. I guess I have to kill off Maria and Bianca because it's Nico by himself. So they still die. Eric and Hades both were unable to save them, unfortunately. But Eric stays around Nico and is basically his, just like Sebastian in Black Butler. Yeah, he's the butler. Well, funny thing that Nico's the one with all the powers, and Eric is not. Eric's normal in comparison to Nico. At least in terms of powers. Whereas in Black Butler, Sebastian's the one with the powers, obviously. And I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, and then Nico's got the powers, and then CL does not. Point is, and Eric doesn't do everything either. I have the 3 spirits of Christmas. Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future as the 3 servants. Just roll with it. Just that's how it worked out, and so I'm dealing with it. But mainly because I know I wanted also want, and oh gosh, is it ignorance? I think that was the boy. This was on his head that spelled the doom of mankind. I think it was ignorance. Because the girl is want, the boy is ignorance. The boy obviously ignorance hates Nico, and want is clawing at him. It's like, you want stuff, I know you want things. So yeah. I kind of wanted stuff like that. Anyways, so yeah, Eric still does a lot for Nico, and he's become a lot more gentle because he has had to really not think of himself with Nico. Because, he's had to think of Nico first and a lot of stuff. Almost every day. Especially after Bianca and Maria were killed. And Nico really clung to him during that. So sad, I know. I'm sorry, Nico. We put you through so much. But yeah, he's really, he got a little hint of learning how to think for others besides himself with Christine. But with Nico, like I said, he really gets it. He's really had to think of someone else besides himself. And so his kinder, gentler side really comes off. And of course, Nico's the son of Hades. He's gonna be totally fine with seeing a skeleton around. And so Eric can show off his mask. Yeah, of course he shows off his mask. But he, can take off his mask while in the D'Angelo estate. Because even the three spirits of Christmas are fine with them without it. When you got the whole thing going on with Marley, with his jaw looking like it's, detaching, the skeleton's not that much different. And, then of course, it works for Eric to live in Venice. It's the city of masks. It just works. It just really works. I just got all islands, so, Hades could find a safe place for them to live in solitude. Not quite solitude, though. Or quite close enough. It has its own little kingdom. So, yeah, it's a series that it shows that if Eric did in fact get a little bit more time with people and got the ability to actually care for someone and really think of someone besides himself, you really would get to see the Eric that everyone wants to see. The kind and gentle Eric. I mean, yeah, Raoul's not exactly all vain and glory hound and jealous and things like that, but a lot of people are drawn to Eric because not so much because of the fact that he's deformed or anything. Most people probably think of Gerard Butler. I want my skeleton arc. Okay. Which is why I prefer the cartoon. So, yeah, that a lot of us want, now that we can look at him from a distance, we will allow him to get closer, I think is one way of putting it. When we know his backstory and everything like that. Because otherwise, most people would, in fact, run away from him. They really would. I don't know very many people would actually go up to a skeleton nugget. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want to feel those ribs poking into my ribs. It's not exactly a very comfortable hug, but, anyways. Yeah, it's... A lot of people would just prefer the Gerard Butler. And it's like, yeah, well, okay, that's fine. But if you actually get to know the original Eric, the one who wasn't so lucky in just getting half his face deformed, was his whole body? Really? Hopefully, really, I do hope you will come to see Eric the way a lot of the original fans have seen him. Even me, and I only watched the cartoon before I actually read the book. I saw the cartoon long before I read the book. That really is one of the better adaptations of the Phantom of the Opera. Because it's, short, concise adaptation, fits the majority of the story in, surprisingly. It keeps Eric's deformity. Though in that one, it's like, it kind of is a little bit of a dumb one, I'll say that. But, yeah. He is a tragic character. We seem to like tragic characters. And I'm one of them, definitely. I want to befriend them, because they do seem like interesting people, and I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, besides the fact that, yeah, I wouldn't mind skeletons. Like I said, the smell would probably kill me, the sight would not. But I won't do that for every, character. Some of them are just like, really? You exist? Okay. Eric, come with me, please. So, yeah. It's just one of those things. But, yeah, I like this book. It might not be for everyone because, like I said, there is actually more of a horror and thriller element to this than the Andrew Lloyd Webber's version. And if you are more interested in something shorter, like I said, there is the cartoon. I will link that in the description below, along with the links to the Bast Butler fanfiction series that I have going on. And I pre-recorded this, earlier, so I don't know if the next installment of the Bast Butler is completely finished. I hope it is. I highly doubt it, though. I know I've got several chapters done at this point, but hopefully majority of it done. If not today, then maybe hopefully soon, by the end of this year at least. But it's pretty short read. Phantom of the Opera, on the other hand, is not. So if you've got time to go through a nice, fairly thick horror book, like the old ones, check out the original Phantom of the Opera. See how his music of the night affects you in comparison to Andrew Lloyd Webber's. I also want my Eric can do ventriloquism and actually can sing. It sounds like he'd be able to be an opera. To be in an opera. It seems like he's actually a musical genius. Yeah, Gerard Butler did a great job with what he had, with that version of the character. I want this version. This version. That's the one I want. Actual singing. So, yeah, anyways. I need to cut this short, so yeah. Oh, actually talked about this a little longer than the Marianne video. Oh, good. I actually talked a lot longer about something I enjoyed, which is more on the horror side. Certain horrors. I'm not a big fan of the gore horror. Okay. Freddy Krueger. As soon as he cut off his fingers and I saw that blood splitting out, I was like, okay, I can't take you seriously anymore. It's like, you're not scary anymore. Oh, he's one of the most scariest creatures. Like, ugh, really? Wait till you see some of my dreams, dude. They're probably weirder than you. Anyways, I should cut this now. I should stop this now. So, yes, please check out The Phantom of the Opera. And happy Halloween, everyone. May the music of the night take you to a lively party full of joy and laughter and entertainment. Thanks for coming by. I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy the holiday, and I'll see you next time. God bless.